Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with a long-term knife review for you. Today we have the Spyderco Native 5 Lightweight. One of my honestly favorite knives in my collection. I've had this now for about 6 months, and I put a lot of use on it, and I really, really do like it. And I've never done a full review on it. That's part of the reason why I decided to do this long-term review. I was looking back through my own videos to find notes for something else, and I realized I never did a full review for that. That's weird. But now is a good time to do it, because as I considered doing it, I went and looked around, and I had missed this news, but this particular version of this knife is going away. You're still able to get the black lightweight handles, but this is an S35VN steel version. They are switching to S30V at Spyderco. There's still lots of these S35VNs out there, so if you want one, go grab one. I'm not particularly offended that they did that. I can see why. It's made in Golden, Colorado, and most of their knives made there S30V, so I'm assuming it's just kind of a standardization thing. I have no inside information or anything like that. And some people do like S30V better than S35VN. I'm not one of them. I prefer the S35VN, but I have one, so I don't care. But if you shop around, there are still lots of places that have the S35VN available. I know Blade HQ has it listed currently as in the steel spec as S35VN/S30V, and someone said down in the reviews, just tell them which one you want. They still have them in stock as of a few days ago. So, and then you can also, like other sites, still have them both listed side by side. So you can still find the S35VN if you want it. I like S35VN better, but as I said, I'm not heartbroken about the S30V, but wanted to get this long-term review in an S35 version before the S30s come out. This knife comes in a whole bunch of different versions. If you don't like either of those steels, you have many options. In the lightweight, you can get a blurple handle, S110V, kind of translucent blue. I guess it's more blue than the blurple. And you can get it in a Maximat. They make a pink handle version if you want that. They make it in serrated. We're just talking just a lightweight version here. They make it in a bunch of different versions. You can get it partially serrated, fully serrated. You can get it with DLC coating, all kinds of stuff. Now, they also make it in a G10 handle version, which you can get the standard Blurple S110V, Spyderco configuration. I admit I've been tempted by one of those because I have PM2 in that one. I used to have a pair of 3 in that, but I got rid of it. So I'm going to tempt that you can get it a carbon fiber with S90V. You can get it, there's a million different sprint runs. They've made a whole lot of Native 5s, and for good reason. It's a great little knife. Talking just under 7 inches, 3-inch handle, or 3-inch blade. You have 0.13 blade thickness, and 0.43, I do believe, on the handle width, and under 2.5 ounces. So this is truly a lightweight. It is truly a lightweight. I'm not doing the full specs. This is a long-term review, but I guess that's most of the full specs I actually usually do. It is this typical full flat grind. It's just a great design. Is it the most aesthetically pleasing thing in the world? No, it isn't. It's a special. I think some of the carbon fiber ones look great, but and the G10 versions look good. But this one is not mind-blowingly awesome. I've never been a fan of the FRN handled Spydercos, but they work so well that I forgive it. And we'll get to that more later because I am going to do this in a full kind of review format. But it's but not the most pleasing. This is part of the Native family now, I guess is what they're calling it at Spyderco. There are lots of other versions of different sizes and shapes of Native. The most common thing that keeps them all together is all of them are designed for this kind of forward, choke up sort of thing. The ergonomics are meant. They all have these big forward finger choils. They're all meant to be kind of used choked up like this. Some examples of some other ones. You have the Spyderco Lil Native, as the cutesy name would indicate. It's a smaller Native. Again, meant to be choked up like this. This is the compression lock version. There are others coming. I do believe there's a back lock version coming, and if it's not out already, and a slip joint. I will be first in line for the slip joint version of this. I really, really like this knife. And also, in the Native family, not called a Native, but Spyderco themselves say this isn't a Native family. This is the Shaman, this big bastard. And again, you can see the family similarities in the shape. This is just a blown up compression lock Native 5 lightweight, or Native 5, sorry, not lightweight, but this is not lightweight. No one would ever, it's not a tank, but no one would ever call the Shaman lightweight by any means. And let's do some other size comparisons while we're at it here with this. Let's compare it to some other knives in this kind of 3-inch sort of range. Here's a knife I compared it to. There's a comparison video. I'll link that down below too. The Benchmade Bug Out. I did a video explaining why I bought this 6 months ago, and then I did a comparison video with the Bug Out, but as I said, I had never done a full review. You can watch the Bug Out review, and a lot of you have. That's one of my higher watched videos, actually. And let's compare it against another Spyderco here, the Delica 4. This is the full flat Delica 4. Pretty similar there. And some other ones that are not in the same price range as this. Again, you're looking, if I hadn't mentioned before, you're looking about 94 bucks for this. This is much less. This is like 40. This is your steel will mini cut jack. Kind of similar D2 steel, but still similar kind of FRN-y sort of handles. And also kind of much more budget, we have your Rat Model 2. Very similar in size to that. And your Kershaw Atmos knife I really, really love. For what, 25 bucks, whatever they are. The Kershaw did a really good job with that. Now, as I explained in the reasons why I bought this, one of the reasons why I bought it was because I love one of my favorite knives that I own, my Manix 2 lightweight, and I wanted something a bit smaller. This works perfectly for that. Doesn't have the cool ball bearing lock, but still has great ergonomics. I still really, really like it. And S35 VN steel, it's got great steel. So I kind of just wanted a smaller something version of that. And this works great to fill that role. It definitely absolutely does. I already kind of talked about the aesthetics of it. That I don't think the lightweight version particularly pretty. But the build quality is outstanding. It's your typical, Golden Colorado Spyderco. It's blade centering's perfect. Everything's flush where it's supposed to be. Yeah, the plasticky feels cheap, but that's FRN for you. That's just the way it is. But it works great, so I can't really complain. You are looking at no liners in this. It doesn't really need them. The backlock has enough steel that it keeps it going. There are also no bushings on this. It just runs on metal on plastic. Works very well. Spyderco's done that for a lot of years with a lot of their knives, and especially on these backlocks. And it's fine. I don't really have a problem with it. And I said I put a lot of miles on this, and nothing's worn out or anything like that. Quality-wise, I've continued to be impressed with it over 6 months. Never had anything go wrong with it. The blade, again, we're looking at S35 VN steel, full flat grind. Fairly thin behind the edge. I don't remember what it was now, and my calipers are out of reach. I did measure, I believe it was somewhere around 22 thousandths, 22 thousandths. So it's fine. It's a good little slicer. It really is. And the way you can choke up on it, it really works really well. I mean, it's not a big giant thing you're going to tack huge amounts of cardboard with or anything like that, but it works really good. I have no issues with the blade on this at all. It's a perfect blade shape and perfect grind, and in this case, really great steel for this price and this purpose of use, I guess. Really a fan of the blade shape on this. It's your typical Spyderco leaf, but there's nothing wrong with that. They've been making a whole lot of them for a good reason. Now, ergonomically, that's where this knife really shines for me. As I said, the FRN, it's so grippy. There's no chance this thing is coming out of your hands. It is meant to be used choked up like this, absolutely. And this thing is just locked in. It's absolutely just locked in when you have your hand on it. It's fantastic. It's comfortable. A little bit of a hot spot from the clip, but nothing too terrible. And this thing just ain't going anywhere. I really do like it. If you're taking this out in the woods or getting out of the water or something and your hands are wet or muddy or whatever, it's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. It works really, really well. The carry, I don't like the clip configuration on it. That's one thing I've never liked about this knife very much. I did have a deep carry pocket clip on it for a while, and then I took it off and I put it on something else, and then I think I sold that with that clip or something, so I don't have the deep carry clip for this anymore. Kind of wish I still did. May get another one, actually, because I have been using this knife, again, a whole lot. But, yeah, it does have the integral lanyard hole thing, same as not the same clip pattern, but the same kind of thing they do with the Delica. I'm not a fan of that. It just makes the knife stick up more out of your pocket. I think it's kind of silly. Especially in knives this size. I don't know. I'm just not I'm not a lanyard guy, so if you're a lanyard guy, that's fine, I guess. And on this one, I can't see where else would you put the lanyard hole. There's really not any other place to put it, and there's not. And if you put it there, there's not really any other place to put the clip. So unless you put a little tiny one up here, but I wish this had the wire clip, like the little Native does. I love the wire clip. I really wish it had that, but alas, it does not. So, little minor thing in that. Other than that, it's pretty good to carry. Spyderco is smart enough, and I wish more companies that make FRN knives. I'm looking at you, Steel Will. They put their logo here, so they make sure the clip lands on that logo, so it lands on a flat spot, so you're not fighting against this grippy stuff to pull it out of your pocket. You can see they do it on the Delica also. It's just, they've been doing this for years and no one's copied it. I don't understand why. Guys, it works. You know, like this isn't horrible to take out of your pocket, but look, like the clip is landing on that grippy stuff. It doesn't on the Spyderco. That's a really smart thing. Copy that, people. You really, really should. So it carries pretty well. It's light, it's thin. As I said, I just wish that it was a little deeper carry clip, but you can get deep carry clips for it if you want to. Now, deployment. This isn't a fidgety knife. As I said, it doesn't have any bushings at all. You can flick it out. You got to get a good bit of wrist in it, but it's not really meant to do that. But it does close really well. It's smooth. There's nothing that feels, gritty or anything with it. It's just a typical Spyderco backlock. It's not meant to be a blast, It's not meant to be a toy. It works fine, but it's nothing super exciting or anything like that. Value-wise, this is post-price increase. I do believe, and I'm trying to recall what I paid for mine, I do believe it was well below 90 bucks. I want to say it was like 86.50 when I got it, but now it's up to 94 since they did the price increase. With the S35 VN, especially at under 90, it was a bargain. Now 94, and if you're getting S30V, if you like S30V better or not, it is typically a less expensive steel. So 94 bucks, it's getting pretty pricey. But that said, I still think it's a better value than a Delica, where this is, 75 bucks with VG10. I'd much rather pay the extra 20 bucks and get even S30V, and I think a better ergonomic knife. I know that people love the Delica and think it's ergonomic perfection, but for my hands, my large hands with skinny fingers, this works much better. So I can't call it a great value anymore. I think with the S35 and when it was 85 bucks or whatever it was, I think it definitely was. Now it's okay, but it's pushing the limits for sure, price-wise. Now, as it is with a lot of these things, since the price increase, if you want the Native 5 lightweight in the dark blue handles with the S110V, it's $123.50. So 30 bucks more. I think you're getting arguably more than 30 bucks better. S110V is expensive steel. Argue how you want about if you want to sharpen it or not. It's not the easiest stuff in the world to sharpen, but it is. That's a genuine super steel for $123.50. And same with the Maximet. The Maximet is a really expensive steel, and those are like $155. So same knife, just $155. The Maximet version's gray. And also, if you look at like the G10 version of this is $145 or $146. I'm sorry, with S30V. So is it a great value? No, but it's not the worst thing, and it's a great knife. I love the Native 5. It's still, the whole Native lineup is one of my favorites of Spyderco. They've made a ton of them. They know what they're doing. I use it a lot. It's come back in my rotation a lot lately. In the summer, this is a knife I carry a whole lot because I play tennis. And even when I'm not playing tennis, I'm often wearing tennis shorts, and they're very lightweight. And you don't want to carry around a 6-ounce knife in a pocket of tennis shorts that's just slapping against your leg all the time. I don't leave it in my pocket when I'm playing. It goes in my bag, but still, just walking around with it, something in your pocket, I don't want something heavy. And I love it for that. Like, this is a knife that definitely comes back in my consciousness when it gets warm outside and I'm wearing lighter weight clothing. I think it's a timeless knife. I think it's great. I'm glad that they didn't just kill it and they just switched to S30V. Some people are going to be upset about that. Like I said, I'm not super upset about it. Wish they hadn't, but I can kind of understand why. If they did it for the reason that I'm assuming they did it. I don't have any inside info, but love the Native 5. It's been great. It's been flawless for 6 months. I've had no issues with it. I would recommend it in a heartbeat if you're willing to pay the $94.25 or whatever it is for it. Check it out. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hope you guys have found it informative. I've been Brian. Have a good one.